Elementary school is supposed to be the most carefree time of our lives. A time when children learn what friendship means, grew together, and build trust in a world that feels simple and safe. But 19 years ago in Japan, that innocence was shattered by a tragedy no one could have imagined. A sixth-grade girl took the life of her own classmate. The case shocked the entire nation and forced Japan to confront a question it had long avoided. When both the victim and the killer are children, what does justice even mean? My name is Eric, and this is Forbidden Files Asia. Tonight, we revisit the quiet coastal city of Sasebo to uncover the story of Japan's youngest murderer, an 11-year-old girl. Sasebo City lies in southern Japan, facing the sea. It covers roughly 426 square kilometers, slightly larger than Taipei, a peaceful place, far from the noise of Tokyo or Osaka. Here lived an 11-year-old girl named Satomi Mitarai. Her mother died of cancer when she was very young. Her father was the chief of the Mainichi Shimbun newspaper's Sasebo branch. The family was well off, and Satomi grew up under the care of two loving older brothers. She was cheerful, independent, and serious about her studies. In 2002, when she transferred to Okubo Elementary School, she quickly made friends and soon became class president, a student her teachers trusted deeply. Her closest friend was a quiet girl named Natsumi Tsuji. The two were inseparable, often going to Satomi's house after school to draw pictures and play computer games together. No one could have imagined that this innocent friendship would later spiral into one of Japan's most chilling tragedies. June 1st, 2004. It was lunchtime at Okubo Elementary. Classes had just finished, and the students were preparing to eat. Natsumi walked over to Satomi's desk and quietly asked her to come along. Without question, Satomi followed her to a small self-study room in the corner of the corridor. The room was empty, silent. "Close the curtains," Natsumi said softly. Those were the last words she would ever speak to her friend. A few minutes later, chaos erupted in the classroom. As the other students were about to eat, the door slid open. Standing there was Natsumi, her hands and clothes drenched in blood, a box cutter still clutched tightly in her hand. Screams filled the room. The teacher rushed toward her, thinking she was hurt. But Natsumi, calm and expressionless, simply said, "It's not my blood." When the teacher ran to the self-study room, the scene was overwhelming. Blood covered the floor, the walls, the desks. Satomi lay motionless on the ground. Minutes later, police cars arrived at the school. Officers sealed off the building and escorted the students away. In a stairwell, they found Natsumi sitting alone, her small hands still stained red, her face calm, almost empty. When a teacher approached, she whispered, "Call an ambulance, Satomi's going to die." No one wanted to believe that this 11-year-old girl was the one who had caused the tragedy. But inside the principal's office, during questioning, Natsumi spoke clearly and without hesitation. "I wanted to kill her yesterday," she said, "but I waited until today." Her composure chilled the officers to the bone. That evening, she was taken to the police station, and the case was officially ruled a homicide. The peaceful city of Sasebo was thrown into panic. Reporters swarmed the school gates. Parents cried outside the building. And across Japan, one question echoed: why would a child do something like this? The next day, Natsumi was questioned again, this time by police and child welfare officials. After hours of interviews, her motive began to surface. 3 months earlier, her class had become obsessed with a website called Kefesta. It was an online community where students could post diaries, chat, and create avatars. Natsumi and Satomi were both active users. Together with 3 other girls, they shared a rotating online diary where each would write about their day and leave messages for the others. It all seemed harmless until a small argument broke out over the English word next. Natsumi liked to use next at the end of her posts. She considered it her signature. When other girls started using it too, she became angry and even wrote in the diary, "No one else is allowed to use next." Satomi thought that was ridiculous. She wrote back, "Everyone can use that word if they want." Those few sentences marked the beginning of their rift. Soon after, the tensions spilled into real life. On May 29th, during recess, Satomi jokingly said, "Natsumi, you're so heavy." Natsumi's face turned cold. She demanded an apology. That night, Satomi went online and mocked Natsumi in a post, calling her pretentious, making fun of her hair and her weight. Natsumi found out, logged into Satomi's account, and deleted the comments. But Satomi reposted them and accused Natsumi of hacking her account. It was the final break between them. Around that time, Natsumi watched a TV drama called Kyojo no Onna Tante, where the killer used a box cutter. Inspired by what she saw, she decided that would be her weapon. Police later discovered that she had planned everything in advance: the time, the place, the knife, even the towel to clean up afterward. A word, a website, a rumor. It was all it took to push an 11-year-old girl into murder. The day after the killing, Natsumi was transferred to the Nagasaki family court. There, she faced lawyers, police, and psychologists. She spoke little, keeping her head down the entire time. The court ordered a full psychiatric evaluation. It lasted 3 months. The results showed that she had Asperger's syndrome, a form of autism that can cause social difficulties and extreme obsession with certain interests. However, the report concluded that she fully understood her actions and their consequences. She was not insane. Because she was under the age of 14, Japanese law prohibited criminal prosecution. Instead, the court restricted her freedom for 2 years and sent her to a juvenile rehabilitation facility in Tochigi Prefecture. The verdict sparked heated debate across Japan. Some demanded severe punishment. Others argued she was only a child lost in isolation and the online world. And in all that noise, the name of Satomi Mitarai, the victim, was slowly forgotten. Natsumi's family appeared ordinary. She lived with her parents, grandmother, and older sister in a quiet village near the school. Her grandmother raised her when she was small. Though she never lacked food or comfort, she often felt alone. At school, she was shy but diligent, a member of the basketball club, never late, always practicing until she got things right. Her teacher described her as quiet, serious, reliable. But around 5th grade, something changed. She stopped making eye contact. She became withdrawn, moody, easily irritated. Classmates said she was the kind of person who never forgives. When her grades began to fall, her father forced her to quit the basketball club. It broke her. The sport had been her only outlet, and without it, she turned to the internet. Online, she found a new world, one where she could hide behind a screen. She started spending hours on Kefesta, writing stories and interacting with strangers. She even wrote a novel inspired by the movie Battle Royale. The story featured the same number of characters as her real-life class. One of them shared Satomi's surname, and in the story, that character was killed with an ice pick. The ice pick, investigators later learned, was Natsumi's original choice of weapon. This was no impulse. It was premeditated. An 11-year-old girl calmly imagining death. That, more than the crime itself, was what truly horrified the nation. After the court ruling, Natsumi disappeared into the juvenile facility, and the case should have faded into silence. But the opposite happened. By law, her identity should have remained hidden. Yet soon, her name, photo, and personal details leaked online. In one photo, she wore a sweatshirt with the word Nevada printed across the front. That single image went viral. Shockingly, many online users began calling her cute. Some even created fan pages. The same sweatshirt sold out in stores, and people started dressing up as her, turning a real murder into a disturbing pop culture trend. Comics, songs, and memes followed. A wave of dark fascination swept across Japan. Psychologists warned that glamorizing a killer, especially a child, desensitizes society to violence and risks inspiring copycat crimes. For Satomi's family, every article, every photo was another wound that would not heal. The tragedy that took their daughter's life had become entertainment for the masses. In the aftermath, Okubo Elementary School took steps to heal. June 1st was declared Life Appreciation Day. Every year since, students gather to reflect on friendship, empathy, and the value of life. The study room where the murder occurred was transformed into a memorial classroom for Satomi. Her photo hangs on the wall, surrounded by flowers and paper cranes made by her classmates. It stands as a quiet reminder that words and actions carry weight. In 2008, Natsumi was released from the rehabilitation center. She was 15. Rumors spread that she had been adopted by a government official, that she had changed her name, maybe even married later in life. None of it was ever confirmed. From that moment on, she vanished from public view. It was said that during her 2 years in custody, Satomi's father received a letter from her every month. Each one was short, calm, and apologetic. After her release, the letters stopped. Years later, Satomi's father spoke to reporters. He said he didn't hate Natsumi. He only hoped she would one day understand that she didn't just take one life. She destroyed an entire family. 19 years have passed. The Mitarai family is still waiting for an apology that may never come. Nearly 2 decades later, the Sasebo school murder remains a haunting lesson in Japan's history. How could an 11-year-old choose murder over forgiveness? Was it the internet, loneliness, or the failure of adults to see the cracks forming beneath the surface? There's no single answer, but one truth is clear. This tragedy didn't happen overnight. If you'd like to hear more real cases from across Asia, let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Forbidden Files Asia.